You're welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari a short while ago delivered what will be his last Independence Day address to Nigerians. On the occasion of the country's 62nd anniversary, the president began by thanking his countrymen for giving him the goodwill to provide leadership over the last 8 years and went ahead to outline some of the key accomplishments of his administration, especially in the areas of infrastructural development, food security, and national integration. He spoke extensively on his expectations from politicians who are currently jostling to convince Nigerians to vote for them during next year's general election. The Nigerian leader specifically declared that he will do anything to ensure that those elections are free, fair, and transparent. Let's hear a bit of what he said, and we will be back.
This administration embarked on addressing critical ecological challenges across the country in order to mitigate the impact of climate change manifesting in the form of flood, soil erosion, desertification, air pollution, amongst others. We will continue to ensure that our infrastructure drive remains the key to Nigeria's economic growth and for which every Nigerian will feel the impact. The federal government is already expanding port operations to ensure that they provide opportunities for the growth of the Nigerian economy. We have also continued to accelerate our infrastructure development through serviceable and transparent borrowing, improved capital inflow, and increased revenue generation. We have continued to boost our railway infrastructure with the completion of a good number of critical railway and at the same time rehabilitating as well as upgrading obsolete equipment. I am pleased to inform my fellow citizens that besides our emphasis on infrastructural development with its attendant opportunities for job creation, employment generation, and subsequent poverty reduction, our focused intervention directly to Nigerians through the National Social Investment Program is also yielding benefits. There is hardly any ward, village, or local government in Nigeria today that benefits of the following: N-Power, trader money, market money, subsidized loans, business grants, or conditional cash transfers. All the aforementioned programs, along with various interventions by the National Social Investment Program, direct support to victims of flooding and other forms of disasters, have provided succor to the affected Nigerians. Fellow Nigerians, no matter what gains we make, without a good governance system anchored on electing credible leaders on the basis of free, fair, credible, and transparent elections, our efforts will not be enough.
With last Wednesday's whistle by the election management body signaling the start of presidential election campaigns, issues around how much security that could be available to the politicians on campaign trail have assumed added dimension. Across the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, insecurity remains a dicey subject. Non-state actors are still on the prowl, ostensibly trying to instill fear into potential voters in the southeast of the country, while up north, there have been reports of terrorists directly warning politicians to steer clear of certain areas, especially in Kaduna and Katsina states. How can these delicate situations be handled in order to provide as much a level playing field as possible for all competing political parties, as well as millions of Nigerians whose rights to universal suffrage would be affected? Captain David Mbamara is a retired officer of the Directorate of the Military Intelligence, and he now joins us for the much-needed perspective on this. Good morning, Captain.
Good morning.
Good to have you, sir.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Happy independence anniversary for Nigeria.
Yeah, happy 62 years.
62 years. Happy 62 years.
Is it 62 years, beautiful adult or young man? I don't know.
It is 62.
young at heart.
Any which way you look at it. But Captain, let's start from the speech of Mr. President. You know, he spoke about the fact that a lot is happening. While acknowledging the challenges that are bedeviling Nigeria, he listed a number of things that Nigerians should be grateful for, that we can at least celebrate in our 62nd years. What do you make of the presidential speech this morning?
Well, the presidential speech today is very important. It's important because this is his last speech. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. It is also important because this is his speech in an election year. A very, very important election. An election that I rather term to be make or mar for this country.
Make or mar.
It is make or mar for this country. Because at 62, I think the only thing we're celebrating now is that Nigeria is still a country.
The only thing?
The only thing we're celebrating is that Nigeria is still a country. Because if you look at the global index of failed states, under his watch, Nigeria has surpassed even the United Nations benchmarks for failed states. Under his watch, I listened to him make allusion to infrastructural development.
Yes.
Under his watch, all our refineries are closed down. All. Under his watch. And these refineries, while being closed down, the workers are being paid while at home doing businesses. Under his watch. These are hard facts for the sake of our children. Under his watch. He talked about infrastructure development. Under his watch, electricity is still epileptic. In 7.5 years, under his watch, there's no improvement. He talked about infrastructure development. Under his watch, Ajaokuta steel rolling mill.
Ajaokuta.
Nothing was done about it in almost 8 years. And how can you trigger up development, Nigerian economic development, without these three areas being touched? Nigeria is the only oil exporting country in the world that imports refined fuel, in the whole world. There is no reason for that. I can assure you that it doesn't take up to 2 years to import and they fix modular refineries. It doesn't. There's no rocket science about this.
So you're certainly not giving the president a round of applause. Is what
I cannot. In fact, I'm a retired military officer.
Yes.
He was my senior. He's my senior in the army. But his conduct is very embarrassing to the army.
What's your take on security? Because that's an area that he also fleshed out in the
Of course,
speech.
security, everybody knows.
No, pick it from his conduct.
From his
that
conduct.
you mentioned.
Yeah.
From what?
From his conduct that is embarrassing to the army, according to you.
Well, if you look at it from the refineries, there's absolutely no reason for the refineries to be so locked on 7.5 years. And why you don't want to pay lecturers because they went on strike? You are paying NMPC workers who are not going to work in these refineries for being at home. Okay? Then you look at it from the point of view of Ajaokuta steel rolling mill. Ajaokuta steel rolling mill has just about 5% to go.
To completion.
5% to completion. And you cannot trigger off technological development without Ajaokuta. The car industries are coming up. Nigerians are very creative. Nigerians want to grow their country. But give them the enabling environment. How much is needed for Ajaokuta to move on? How much? That we cannot close our eyes so that it would have been a legacy project for him, he would have been remembered and applauded as the man who came and completed a Jokuta steel rolling mill. And Nigerians will have access to steel, to iron and rods. Okay? Then you look at it from the electricity perspective. While others are talking of 20-something megawatts, 30-something, and we are talking of 4, 3. We are not serious. The good news is that this is his last broadcast.
For independence.
For independence, yes. And we pray that the promise he made to Nigerians today of a fair, credible, transparent election, that he gives it to Nigerians. So Nigerians, especially our youths, who are in their hundreds of millions, can be able to have a new lease of life.
This appears to be what the president wants to be his legacy, a very free and fair democratic process.
If that is his legacy, well, we will appreciate that. But it is on record that he has wasted our 8 years. Because in these 8 years, nobody travels without being apprehensive from Abuja to Kaduna. For you to go to Abuja by road, from Abuja to Lokoja by road, is a nightmare. He can't even go to Katsina, his home state. You can't go to Zamfara. You can't go from Olu to Hiala. You can't go anywhere. You can't even travel from here to Benin without being afraid. We are now a country under siege. We are a country under siege. And if the truth must be told, Nigeria, the once giant of Africa, I don't know where to place us. If you look at the international relations perspective, Nigeria's opinion doesn't matter again in international relations. This was a country that was at the front burner for the independence of the South African countries.
That's right.
This was a country that when we sneeze, Britain quakes. This was a country that you cannot do anything to any black man without Nigeria reacting. Today, Nigerians are being killed like fowls. A lot of things are happening, and nobody cares.
Well, Captain, let's put things in perspective. Today is Independence Day anniversary. We're 62 today. Interestingly, as we will see as things proceed, you will see a lot of activities in Abuja. We've seen videos of paratroopers, preparing for today, jumping down from the plane and everything. A lot of people who still express some degree of faith in this administration will say that at least Abuja, the seat of power, is back to the good old days that you can celebrate Nigeria. March past, there will be a dinner later, it's not like you are cocooned in Aso Rock, etc. That's what people like that will say. But for you as an expert in military intelligence and security matters, you don't think that that is something worthy of celebration? Because if you recall, in 2014, 2013, the president and the apparatus of government couldn't even come out at all to celebrate Independence Day and Democracy Day. You don't think that we should give any credit whatsoever as far as security is concerned? Yes, there are, other vestiges of insecurity. The fact that you mentioned the, Kaduna, Abuja Railway, etc., kidnapping, etc. But in terms of the attack on the sovereignty of the country, it looks that it will look to a lot of people that the country has made some appreciable progress. What will be your assessment as we clock 62 today?
Well, I don't quite agree with you, because today Abuja is more under siege than ever before. You see, the gallant Nigeria army, we have a very beautiful army. I keep telling people, this country has one of the best armies in the world. The security challenge in the army is as a result of leadership challenges. That capacity to take to give that order as at when due. That capacity to ensure that this army lives up to its constitutional responsibilities is what is lacking. So it's showing us people jumping from the plane paratroop. This is a social angle to security, man. This is social angle. We are not talking of socials here at this point. We are taking a hard look at Nigeria at 62. And it was under his watch that Kuje prison was attacked. It was under his watch that a train that left from Abuja to Kaduna could not reach Kaduna up to today, and people are still being held hostage. It was on a whole lot. You can't even move anyhow in Abuja now. If you go to those of our people living in North Kuje, towards Kaduna area, I've forgotten the name of that community.
Maraba.
Even Maraba, but not Maraba. I've forgotten the name of that community. Cannot even sleep with both eyes closed. Even Abuja, the seat of government, is not safe. And the issue is not currently, I must give it to the army, currently, a lot is being done in the northeast to contain them. If the orders being given to the army today, if what the army is doing today in the northeast, that they were allowed to do it 2, 3, 4 years ago, we won't be in this mess. There is a lot of, if you watch very well, there are a lot of things are coming down, even in the southeast. But this thing, there is no one-way traffic to security. What is security? Security is a situation where sabotage is eliminated, where subversion does not exist, and where espionage is totally knocked off. These are the 3 parameters to measure security. And the moment you have these 3 totally taken care of, you cannot say you have security. Security is not about shooting and killing. It is so mundane. And when you are talking of Nigeria being secured, we are insecure. Where there are bandits, even calling the spade by its name, calling these guys terrorists, took us almost 3 years. We were playing with words. We were treating them with kid gloves. Domestic subversive organizations emerged from everywhere. A governor was threatened. A governor had to come down from his vehicle and ran into the bush. And a group came out from this country and said that we did it, and nothing happened. No, in this country, nothing happened. A whole lot has happened, and on the basis of security, which is one of the 3 planks that brought the APC government to power.
That's right.
If I rank them, I will score them up to 20%.
In security?
In security, yes. If I rank them, what is security? There's so much espionage, there's so much subversion, and there's so much sabotage. And all these 3 things are in existence. And if they're in existence, there is no security.
But going by these 3 parameters, espionage, subversion, sabotage, could you say that these are, I mean, the government could possibly also say that these are outside of their control? So do we actually have a situation where we could really be secure? Because these are external forces.
There is not, I remember I defined them as domestic subversive organizations.
That's right.
TSO.
Yeah.
Okay? And they are not, he is the commander-in-chief. And the buck stops on his table. If everything is secured, we clap for him. If it is leaking, we blame him because he is the commander-in-chief. And remember, when he appointed his service chiefs and all of them are from one section of the country, the reason he gave was that these are the people he knows and he trusts. And Nigerians believed him and gave him the benefit of the doubt. And almost 8 years after, sitting down here in your studio and looking at how it is in Abuja, looking at the situation in Olo, looking at what is happening in Ondo State as we speak, looking at what is happening even in Lekki here, and looking at the definition of security. As a security professional, the buck stops on the table of the commander-in-chief. The Nigerian president is perhaps the strongest president in the world, with every power given to him by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Maybe after the American and the Russian presidents.
No. The kind of powers he has, the American president doesn't have it. The American president doesn't wield the kind of powers the Nigerian president wields in the Constitution of Nigeria. American Constitution did not give their president such powers. Our president, in the flawed 1999 Constitution, gave so much powers to the president and commander-in-chief. I was one of those who were so excited when he was coming into power. I voted for him. I worked for him.
In 2015.
I campaigned. Yes. And as a young man, I remembered the Y Brigade era, what he did with the dear boy in the 1983-84 section. And I said, well, guy, if this guy comes in, Nigeria will be El Dorado. And I can tell you that I am terribly disappointed.
What do you think went wrong? Is he on account of his old age or ill health, or the fact that the system overwhelmed him? I'm asking this question because the next Nigerian president, come 2023, will not be a retired military general.
Oh, yeah.
We do not know who he will be, but we know that it will
Definitely
be a retired
general.
Sure.
Sure.
So I'm asking that if a retired general could fail based on the parameters that you have listed, and this is not a retired general that just happened on the country. It's been head of state before. He's been minister of petroleum. He has headed as chairman of petroleum, trust fund. He understands the needs of the country. Yet, he couldn't fix it based on the parameters that you listed. How will we fare, therefore, if a non-general takes over from him on May 29th, 2023? Are we doomed?
No, we are not.
Failure?
We are not. The problem with his leadership and the problem of Nigeria is that he capitulated. He embraced his ethnic origin. In fact, he became the president of his ethnic stock instead of the president of Nigeria.
Fulani president.
He became the president of his ethnic stock. He played to the gallery. He did not come out as a pan-Nigerian president that we expect anybody who occupies that hallowed office to be. Rather, from day one, he defined, in fact, one of my friends said that he's the third Mahdi. Instead of being the father of the nation, instead of looking at the whole of the country as his constituency, he decided to be an ethnic president. That is the major problem of the Buhari administration. And any president in Nigeria or any other president that comes and decides to toe the line of ethnicity instead of the line of pan-Nigerianism, because if you look at it, the elites, why are they looting us dry? Why are they making the country dry? Because they have two weapons for divide and rule. And what are those weapons? Ethnicity and religion. Then they give, at the point of election, they give the poor people small money. And they control the mind of the people. There have been cases of a former governor from Jigawa State who said that Nigerians are too weak to revolt. Do you understand? You hear the cases of El Rufai stating that the northern people they don't have access to internet. They make the poor so, they make their environment so poor for ease of control. And that is why one of the best things to have happened to Nigeria is this pact by the Nigerian youth.
NSAS.
NSAS. The Nigerian youth should get up and take back their country. They should not accept or acquiesce to the gimmick of the political elite to use religion and ethnicity to divide them. The cost of milk in Sokoto is the same cost of milk in Meduguri, is the same cost of milk in Owerri, is the same cost of milk in Enugu. The cost of beef, the cost of gari, everything. When they want power, they come to the fore, use ethnicity, they use religion, and put Nigerians in asunder, take control of power. Then they use the elite, political elite from both the south and the north, will converge in Abuja and share the Nigerian Commonwealth, in exclusion of the poor, who they have already played out by using ethnicity and religion and small money to play them out and take power.
But Captain, just a moment, Abi. There are a number of people who will disagree with you, who will say that if you put things in proper perspective and you score Nigerian leaders, present and former, appropriately, that it will be unlikely that anybody will score higher than Muhammadu Buhari in terms of the infrastructural development in the southeast. For example, Second Niger Bridge, he was in Imo State, lately he has been in Ebonyi commissioning things. And that yet, this is a zone that didn't vote for him, that didn't vote for him in 2015, that didn't vote for him in 2019, yet that if you put it in, on a scale, that he has probably done much than any other people. So when you say that he has not acted in a pan-Nigerian manner, people will say that, look at what he has done in the southeast.
Southeast, the whole of southeast, Second Niger Bridge, which is a joint venture, and you use it. I hope you are not blackmailing the southeast. You use it to judge developmental index for 8 years in the southeast. Use as a parameter. And if you look at the drawing of that Second Niger Bridge and the execution on ground, it's not the same. But the thing is that I must give him kudos for that bridge.
Okay.
PDP, APC are one and the same. They are just, this is my Nigerian flag. This face is PDP. This is PDP and this is APC. One. And I want to urge Nigerians to flush down the drain these two lynch in the next coming election.
That's the position for 2023?
Yes. You see, let me tell you, these two are parasites feeding deep in the body of their host. And no parasite survives outside the host. These two are parasites feeding deep. And who are their hosts? Nigerians.
Captain Mbamara, are you therefore obedient?
I am very obedient. I believe I am the Southeast leader of the third force. And while we worked tirelessly with people like Professor Patu Tomi, people like Dr. Bugaje, Barrister Kashim, and so many other people, while we worked tirelessly to bring on board a third political force, is because of this situation. Because we discovered that these two are one and the same. Collectively, they have failed Nigerians. Collectively, PDP and APC, in a sane environment, they lack the moral strength to request for people to vote for them. Naira is 700 something naira to $1.
How is Peter Obi different? If Atiku had won in 2019, he would have been vice president running for a second term.
Vice. You see, the PDP, we are putting him on trial. I am in total support of the movement of the Nigerian youths. Let them take over their country. If P2B fails to deliver within the first 3 years, I will be one of those working to get him out of that place. There should be no sentiment here. There should be no ethnic consideration here. It is not about Emilokon.
Emilokon.
It is not about anybody's turn. It is the turn of the Nigerian youth.
Right, Captain. In relation to that, and circling back to security, of course, we have a few months ahead of us leading to the general elections for next year. What do you envisage the entire environment would be? Is it going to be peaceful? Do you sense some violence on the horizon? And what could we expect the Defense Intelligence Agency what role do we expect them to play in the upcoming months? And are they well equipped to even do that?
They are well equipped. And Nigeria, I repeat, Nigeria has one of the best in terms of training of the army, the navy, the police, the air force, the DSS. Nigerian security organizations don't joke with trainings.
Yeah.
We have one of the best. Why? This is the same Nigerian army that went to Liberia and liberated Liberia. This is the same army that went to Sierra Leone, a foreign country, and liberated Sierra Leone. This is the same army that went to Congo. The Nigerian army doctrine have not changed. Our training manuals have not changed. The Nigerian army still remains one of the best in the world. I can assure you that. What is lacking is political leadership. So this election, It will be, in fact, you can see that the tempo is going down. While the tempo security situation is going down, the tempo of the political situation is going up. You ask yourself why? Because the youths are driving it. How can you, like in my state, I'm from Imo. According to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, Imo State has about 60% unemployed youths.
That's correct, yeah.
About 60. Google your MBS. Then you now close down universities for the past 7 months. And they are all now back home. And if our youths are not doing what they are doing, then they are rogue, they are imbeciles. How can you keep them unemployed after graduation, no work, no social security, nothing, and you still expect them to be like stones? Our youths are reacting sociologically. And I expect every governor that is on seat now, I expect this government that in view of this thing, the thing is taking its natural shape. Why the security situation is going down, the political tempo. It's not a function of saying Obi group, the Obidient are violent, they are this. You don't expect good words to come out from an angry heart. These youths are angry. And rightly so, they are right to be angry.
Well, Captain, INEC's chairman, one of the things that he expressed, apprehensions that he showed, was that insecurity will be a major factor. We know what happened in 2015 when the presidential election had to be postponed for 2 weeks because of what was happening in the Northeast. Are you hopeful that these elections will hold and that INEC will be ready to deliver, given the fact that there are about 7 to 10 million new entrants into the fold, saying that they are not being played well?
My brother, if I listened to General Olusegun Obasanjo yesterday, he warned INEC not to tamper, not to think of rigging this 2023 election. Remember, I told you that this election is make or mar. And any attempt to rig this election as won by General Obasanjo will be catastrophic for this country. The political elite should know that the game is over. The Nigerian youths are now awake. They are the people who used to carry ballot buses for them. They are the people who used to give them security. They are the people who used to manipulate the results. And when they go there, these youths that they were using to enter power and abandon are today awake. Their mumu don't do. Any attempt to rig this election, they will see what they did not bargain for from these youths. They should take note of it. That is one. Number two, security is a function of give and take.
Yeah.
Like I said before, there is no one straitjacket approach. It is a carrot and stick. It is not a function that because you have access to police and the army. You call Nigerian soldiers and police and tell them to be killing fellow countrymen. Why you use force for those who do not want peace? You also use this dialogue on those who are ready. Because every war ends on the table.
Captain, we've totally run out of time, but I just want to take these 10 seconds to ask you. I'm sure that the producers will not like it. But then as a military person, as an intelligence person, what was said about Peter Obi, whom you support, in those days when he ran to be governor of Anambra, was that Obi will win, but he won't rule. He won, the victory was truncated, and then court returned him. Do you think that even if Obi wins this time around, will he rule? 30 seconds, sir.
Yes. Last time I reminded Nigerians on what happens in this country every 30 years. It happened in 1963. That election was challenged. It led to the Wild West problem, led to the coup, led to the civil war. In 1993, another election was held. Abiola won. He was not allowed to rule. If it happens and Peter wins and he's not allowed to rule, it will be the third time and Nigeria may not survive it.
All right. All right, Captain, thank you so much for joining us. We've been having a chat with Captain David Mbamara, former military intelligence officer. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
It's time now for a short break, and when we return, we shall be speaking with John Cardinal Onayekon, Catholic Archbishop Emeritus, on a variety of issues, providing an interesting backdrop to Nigeria's celebration of 62 years as a politically independent nation. Stay with us.